It all comes down to this. Two teams vying for Premier League glory, two teams vying for immortality, but will it be Arsenal or Manchester City that come out on top in this Premier League final? Both teams go into this nearly neck and neck. Arsenal high flying at the top of the table, Manchester City hot on their heels chasing. Will it be their day? Will the Etihad drive them forwards, or will the mighty Gunners fire themselves back into the favourite position of the Premier League title race? Today we will be previewing that very game. Please like the video and subscribe, it really would mean a lot to me. But now let's talk Man City against Arsenal. Here we have both sides for the Premier League final. We have Man City on the left and we have Arsenal on the right. We're going to be going through my predicted starting lineups and then talking about how both teams could go forwards. We're going to start with Man City on this left-hand side. Ederson with a back four in front of him of Laporte, Diaz, Stones and Walker. Walker is going to be very, very crucial here because of the pace of a one Gabriel Martinelli. In front of this back four we have Rodri, Gundogan, De Bruyne, which is Man City's main pick of a midfield three. Gundogan is amazing at finding pockets in those half spaces. We have Kevin De Bruyne, who has his quality, and then Rodri is probably one of, if not the best central defensive midfielder in the world currently. We have Jack Grealish sitting in front on this left wing position with Riyad Mahrez out on this right, and then Erling Braut Haaland in that central striking role. Going forwards, we can have a look at Arsenal. We have Aaron Ramsdale with a back four in front of him of Ben White, Gabriel and Zinchenko. I've left out this big question mark because there is a big question about this Arsenal defence, and that is, will William Saliba play or will it be Rob Holding? This is crucial because if William Saliba plays, not only can Arsenal play a higher line, allowing them to be yards and yards forwards than they would do previously, it's also the mental fortitude that it will give them, having arguably their best centre-back. He's comfortable on the ball, he's extremely good with the ball at his feet, he's very good at following runs, and he is probably the best central defender to try and deal with Erling Haaland at the moment. In front of this back four we have Odegaard, Partey and Xhaka, Arsenal's main midfield three. Granit Xhaka making those penetrating runs allowed by Zinchenko coming into midfield, Odegaard being their main playmaker and captain, let's not forget. He is very, very good, and he scored an absolute worldie against Southampton in their last game. Although they drew, they really did fight back, and I believe there is a fight and a spirit in this Arsenal team. Bukayo Saka and Martinelli will be their two main wingers, and Man City's former player Gabriel Jesus will be leading the line for the Gunners. But how will both sides go forwards? Let's start off with Man City. When Man City like to play, they now like to play with a three at the back system going forwards. That means one of their back four players comes out of the back four, comes out of the back line and goes into midfield. In this case it will be John Stones from this centre back position. Normally he plays out here at right back, however, as I've said, because of the pace of Gabriel Martinelli, Kyle Walker will be slotting in for me. Stones will then come into midfield, and while this happens the back three will then take shape, moving across and moving towards the centre of the pitch, making sure that they're leaving their wide areas to be marked by their central wingers when in possession. We have Rodri and Stones in the centre of the park, allowing Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne to move forwards that little bit. This also means that they have higher pressure further up the pitch. It also allows Jack Grealish and Riyad Mahrez to really start to create the width down the sides of this Arsenal team, Erling Haaland doing his own thing around the penalty area. If I remove this, it looks something like this. This is how Man City are going to line up, especially when they have the ball in possession. They're a completely different beast, and already you can see that with Rodri and Stones sat next to each other, that becomes a line. They can also find lines to Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan and Rodri, and they create almost a box of possession. This box going forwards is going to be key in manoeuvring the ball out towards these channels, towards Jack Grealish and towards Riyad Mahrez. It also is going to be key because Kevin De Bruyne might want to find some passes in between the lines through those half spaces, and it also might be runs that Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan might want to make. Crosses in from the byline to Erling Haaland with his movement, with his pace, with his power, might become a very valuable asset. We know how good Erling Haaland is when the ball is fired in at him. He doesn't necessarily need to make great contact in terms of making it look nice. He can do it in any way, shape or form, and it's just his presence in the box which is so dangerous. That's why William Saliba is such a big miss for Arsenal if he is not able to play. But Erling Haaland is going to be an absolute nightmare when it comes to dealing with Gabriel. When it comes to dealing with either Holding or Saliba, Partey might need to drop in, but he's got a lot on his plate with the likes of Gundogan and De Bruyne picking up those half spaces with the security of Rodri and Stones. Stones is very good with the ball at his feet, which means that recycling of possession is going to be key. You're not going to see them going back towards their back three all too often because of the security that Stones and Rodri offer. Recycling through the likes of Jack Grealish and Riyad Mahrez is going to be absolutely crucial. 1-2s between De Bruyne getting towards the byline is another avenue that Arsenal are going to find difficult to defend against this Man City side. Really, there are so many different avenues, so many different ways that this Man City team can hurt this Arsenal defence, especially if they are not up to it, and they are currently leaking goals. It's a very dangerous proposition, but Arsenal have a counter-attacking threat in Gabriel Martinelli. This is why I think Kyle Walker is so crucial, because there is no one really with the pace of Kyle Walker, and I think he's done well in at centre-back when he's been asked to play there on that right side of that back three. We know that he can play that position for England, so why can't he do it for Man City? Martinelli is going to be wanting to play on the edge of offside, especially when Arsenal are under pressure, when they are under that scrutiny. Gabriel Jesus is going to have a lot to be asked of him as well to try and hold the ball up when they start to recover possession. Transition is going to be absolutely key in this Arsenal team, and the quickness of transition will be dictated by how well Gabriel Jesus will be able to pick the ball up and then pass it through to an on-running Gabriel Martinelli. Kyle Walker is going to need to be there to really stop any kind of pressure coming through, and that's why I've got him in this side. But as for Arsenal actually maintaining possession and going forwards, what will that look like? Well, we know that Mikel Arteta is a student of Pep Guardiola. We know that he's been very good at going forwards himself. We know that he likes to play in a similar fashion, and in that we know how Arsenal are going to play. Gabriel Jesus will be taking up his general position in the box. Bukayo Saka, as did with Riyad Mahrez, Martinelli and Bukayo Saka will be holding out on that width, very much like Riyad Mahrez and Jack Grealish. Granit Xhaka will be moving across just a little bit, able to go forwards due to the fact that Zinchenko will come into midfield. White, Holding and Gabriel will then move across, creating a back three. Martin Odegaard will move forward that little bit as Thomas Partey will be coming over to this right hand side, and all of a sudden you're going to see the same box that Man City create when they go forwards. Very similar systems and very similar ways of attacking and going forwards. Both of these managers understand how this game is played, and they both have similar philosophies in the way that the game should be played and should be gone forwards. Having a look at this is how Arsenal are going to pick up. We see this box here immediately with Partey, Zinchenko, Xhaka and Odegaard, the back three really maintaining their presence, with the likes of Rob Holding in the centre of the park, covered by Ben White and Gabriel. We have Martinelli out on this left-hand side, and we have Bukayo Saka out on this right, holding their width, making sure they can try and hit the bylines, trying to beat their men for pace, trying to just get that little extra yard. Perhaps Bukayo Saka cuts inside and then plays across into Gabriel Jesus, who should be trying to find pockets of space in behind Diaz and Stones. We know how good Odegaard is at this free roaming role, and we know that Granit Xhaka likes to make penetrating runs towards the byline. This is facilitated by Zinchenko coming into midfield, sitting next to Thomas Partey, and then you have that solidity, the same solidity that John Stones and Rodri give Man City. Again, you're starting to see the similarities here in between both sides. It's all about quality and how well both sides can really execute the way they want to go forwards. The pockets of space in the half spaces are going to be crucial, and Odegaard is going to need to try and find those. If there's anything I would say about this Arsenal side that might not be quite as cutthroat as this Man City side, is the question mark that's over Granit Xhaka and whether he can find those half spaces as many times as Ilkay Gundogan can. We know that Arsenal are high and flying. We know the directness and their pace of their play is something to really behold. But do they have the cutting edge to really play through this Man City back line, this extremely well drilled and well organised Man City back line? Perhaps Gabriel Jesus might be the answer to come back and haunt his former club. And then you also have the danger of Erling Haaland. Like we talked about with Martinelli, Haaland's pace in behind is absolutely frightening. We know that Kevin De Bruyne on the transition is one that can play a pass for yards and yards, and he has the vision to be able to see Erling Haaland at the edge of this back line. Haaland will be a danger, and one thing that I do have to say that's a big concern for me when it comes to this Arsenal side is the lack of pace running backwards. Ben White, yes, is fairly quick, so is Gabriel, but none of them really have the pace of Erling Haaland, like Kyle Walker can match up to Gabriel Martinelli. This is the main question mark and the main exclamation mark that I have over this game from an Arsenal defensive perspective. Yes, when they go forwards, remember they need to win the game. When they go forwards, it's going to be very dangerous. They're going to be living on the last line. They're going to be living on the edge. And it's all about whether they can cope with that pressure. Aaron Ramsdale is going to need to come and deal with Erling Haaland and balls in behind next to Erling Haaland more often than not, I would have thought. His questionable performances and his real mentality going into this game is going to be under scrutiny, is going to be questioned because he has been at fault for a couple of goals. Will Arsenal have the mental fortitude to take it forwards? I think that is the main point here. Both sides play very well. Both sides are very good at going forwards. Both sides need to win. So the question is, who will it be? Who will be coming out on top? This is how I think the game will break down, and I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on who will win. That's it for today, guys. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave the video with a like and subscribe if you haven't for more content like this coming very soon. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well, you don't want to miss what's coming up in the near future, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on who is winning this game. Is it Arsenal or is it going to be Manchester City? And will that take them to the Premier League title? Is everything on the line, or do you see more twists and turns coming later on? Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear from you. But like I said, that's it from me for today. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care of yourselves, and bye bye.